So in this video, I'll show you how you can develop a simple calculator application with AI code with Chatgpt. So we are going to use Visual Studio and VB.NET. So you can open Visual Studio 2022, which is a free download. And then once you open this, you create a new project. So here you can type like Windows so that you can have a Windows Forms application. Then it will show up Windows Forms app, or so these are the different languages. You select Windows and different platforms. So I select Windows Forms app.net framework. You can also select the other things, but just for the example, I'm just selecting a .NET because then it will be platform independent. So I'm selecting Windows.NET, and then you create the application. You can put any project name you want, like I'm putting calculator app because this is going to be a calculator app with AI, because the code I'm going to use ChatGPT to generate. So there are different .NET frameworks you can create. So once you do this, the basic app will be created, and then you can start generating the code and put it on the. So here, so now you have the form. I'm just going to run it to see if it works. So it's just a skeleton form, that is a Windows form. You can call it also a Windows app. So VB.NET is a very easy programming language. If you are learning, it's the best to start. It's so straightforward, Visual Basic compared to the other language. So once you run it, you will get something like this, a form that is a simple Windows. So this one, from this we need to add code, and for that we need to add a calculator app. So how we do a calculator app? Instead of coding it from scratch, we are going to use AI. So you can use GitHub Copilot, but sometimes it's paid. So you can use ChatGPT, which is a free version which you can do. So you can check what version you have. If you have an enterprise, if your company has an enterprise, you can just use it to generate code. But for now, I'm not going to use that. I'm just showing you the possibilities which you have. So once you get on the GitHub Copilot, it will direct you to a login page. Once you log in with your company or university, you might have a thing. But if you don't have, then you will have something like this. Try Copilot Pro for. So this is GitHub Copilot. There are two things. GitHub Copilot is a code-based Copilot. Microsoft Copilot is different. So I'm going to use ChatGPT. So here I'm going to tell this prompt, that is generate for me an app code for VB. So app calculator app. So mostly these prompts you have to give the maximum information. Imagine you are telling a developer to develop something like that. You have to tell what environment you have. You are using VB.NET. So I'm going to use say a Visual Studio Code, and I need a complete app which I can basically run on the Visual Studio. And the more text you write, the better it is, because that's how the artificial intelligence tools, any tool like ChatGPT or Google Gemini, will work. Now it's going to create an app for you, complete set of instructions also. And once you see, you can follow the instructions. So it will tell you step by step what you want to do. Open the Visual Studio folder and .NET. These are things which you have to do if you have not opened the Visual Studio Code. And then you'll get a program.vb. So this is the code which you need. So we are going to just copy that code and then put it on the forms. So you have the forms editor here. So if you double click on the form, on right side you have the navigation bar where you can see all these things which is part of this project. And then now I'm going to just paste the code. You just double click on the form, and then you'll enter into the code editor. So here you have this basic structure like public class, and inside that there's a function. So you need to embed the code which you got from the ChatGPT. So I'm just pasting it outside to see what we have. So you have a module program and then import. So I'm just going to get the sub function, this main sub function, which is enough for us. You don't need the module, which is already generated by Visual Studio for us. So I'm just going to put it here in this place instead of the already generated skeleton code. So if you have errors, you'll get some red lines which you need to sort it out. Like this is the thing which comes by practice. You need to know a little bit of Visual Studio, and then others you can use AI tools. So it's not just enough if you know the AI tools to generate code. You need to know where to place the code and how to run, and if you get errors, you need to solve it. So I'm just pasted it and then running it as expected. You get an exception error, and what you can do is you can just completely copy this error and paste it on ChatGPT, and it will direct you what you have to do. So this is something what we call vibe coding. Also, this is vibe coding, BIBE. That is, you're using AI tools to generate code and develop applications. So the future is going to be, so here you see I get an exception error, and I'm just going to copy and paste it here to see what it. So you also need to understand the basics of Windows, so that you know where to, you need to understand the error message, you need to understand the code to get that. So you don't, the only thing is you don't need to memorize or remember all the syntax. That's the only thing. Other than that, you need to still know a lot of domain knowledge, technical knowledge. If you are a VB developer, it will be very easy and it will speed up things for you. If not, better to learn a bit VB and then get into the code generation. So whatever it is, you can also do it the other way around. You can generate code, put it here, and encounter errors, solve errors, and then fix it. So anyway, it's about learning. So you just keep the path of learning. So here you see that I have made a mistake, that I have generated a console code. I've not told the chat GPT that I have a forms or a Windows application. So that's why it's generated a console code, and that's why when I put it here, it's not, it's getting some exception error. So I need to now solve it, or just remove this code and tell ChatGPT to generate a Windows Forms code. So this is the thing which you need to give the complete information for the AI tool for it to understand. Otherwise, it will generate something which you will try to compile and you will get errors. If you don't understand the background, then you'll keep debugging and you will go in the wrong direction. So you need to give the maximum possible information to any AI tool, like be it ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever it is, any code generator tool or any tool. So here you see still throwing exception errors because I'm just pasted a completely wrong set of code. So now I need to completely remove it and tell the ChatGPT to generate for me a forms code. So I'm pasting the error message. It will tell you some solutions because it's still thinking that you are, so you're running a Windows Forms app. So it tells you that you're running a Windows Forms app, but somewhere your code is asking for a console application. So you need to read what it says, and then you should be able to understand what it means and then solve the error. So next step would be to now tell ChatGPT to generate the same code for a forms Windows Forms application that will only solve the application. So here I'm going to again copy this whole thing, or it's telling me to remove it, and if I just remove it and then compile it, it's still not going to work. So let's see in the next I'll explain how it works with the forms code. So here you see that I told her that I have selected Windows Forms app. So now it's going to tell you to generate, copy the new code. So it's generated the whole thing again with in the for the forms application, and all you need to do is just copy this form1.vb code into this form.load. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just pasted it and saved it, and see there are buttons here. So this has to be normally designed. So if you don't add the buttons in the design, then you'll get errors. This is another thing. So in Windows Forms, you need to design and then code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the AI tool ChatGPT to create dynamically, because from the VB code you can generate the buttons. So that's one thing, or you can design. So I'm just going to tell it to dynamically create the buttons so that we don't even have to design anything. So this is what I'm going to tell design. Then it's going to now generate a new set of code which I can just copy paste, and in the code itself the buttons will be created, and then I just need to execute, and then you have a ready-made calculator app. So it's very fast, You need to do vibe coding. If you're a programmer, you need to use ChatGPT or any AI tool, and the syntax will be perfect. You don't need to remember all the syntax which you used to do as a programmer. So this is going to speed up IT and software, but still software developers will be needed to integrate the whole stuff. Do you have to know what you are doing? So if you're a designer, you need to know what a design is, and if you're a writer, you need to know what your script is. So AI tools will is just a helping tool, but it will speed up things. Yeah, so but still you need to know the domain knowledge. So you concentrate on the domain knowledge. If you're in engineering, concentrate on, but this will be helping you to speed up a lot of stuff. So I copied the code here, and then you can just start the application. There might be small errors, but still 99% it will be done. So you see that now I'm going to run the application without any coding. I have not done any syntax writing. It's just the whole code, and you see the application is ready. So there are some debugger operations which you can ignore for now, but the application is stay there. So I'm just doing 4 plus 5 and then get 9. So the logic is working. It's a full complete calculator app in VB.NET, ready in 5 minutes, and it will generate code for all the programming languages, C++, Java, anything. Only thing is you need to know how to integrate the code. So try it out, and then you can pass comments. If you need help, I can also message. So that's about this video.